Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Lee here from Dundee here again. Now, as you know, I do a wee bit of research and I normally sit up every night, doing a wee bit of research and reading and, just investigating. And I would like to say that the COVID wave 2 is coming because the fact is they feel it's no worked the first time and they're going to do extreme lockdown on the second time. Hence the reason the military and all that sort of stuff's coming in. But also what I'd like to say is that people are not actually watching the shite on TV now. But I think that sports is the new media. Because everybody else is on lockdown, right? Getting paid to stay in the house, but how is it the football players and all the rest of the sports are getting on with their lives, but we can't? Is there one rule for the elites and one rule for us? Because football seems to be I'm looking at the transfer window right now because I'm into, how this is operating, and I'm doing a wee bit of research. Man United are talking about buying Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund for 120 million. What the fuck is going on? I would rather keep my 120 million because no player in this earth is worth 120 million. And on top of that, how could they afford that when they've got no supporters coming through the doors to fund the wages? Because to be fair, supporters' wages are the ones that fund the football club to stay open. And I know that. TV rights and all that sort of stuff bring in an extra, chunk of cash. But the mainstream, wages is coming in from supporters. 120 million. What the fuck is going wrong with people? There's nobody out there that's worth 120 million. Nobody. And when Manchester United or Man City come knocking, it seems to be like they just make up their own figures. Jack Grealish, 90 million. Really? Unbelievable. Right, so that's one thing. I think the sport is the new media. Because the fact is, they're watching the sport rather than watching the crap on television. Now, I'd like to go on to something else. Madeline McCann, which amazes me how they could come up with that much bullshit. It's unbelievable. Madeline McCann, now they're digging up an area in Germany under the guy that they say is the new murder suspect. Well, that's strange. Because they brought over the dogs from the UK that have never missed a beat on any case. They're the best in the business that determine where the death happened and I'll know who did it, but where the death happened. And these dogs have got a good smell. It's called cadaver. It's called cadaver because that's the smell of death. And they dogs picked out the smell of death in that apartment and in the hired car. And remember, the hired car was there 20 odd days later. But yet they're digging up the grounds in Germany of the guy that they say that this is suspect, which I call him Andreas Lubitz. And they're digging up a garden to make it as if they're going to find. Are they going to plant a baby's bones there and just say it's her? Just to drop this, because you know what? People are going on and on and on about this. No wonder, because it's a fucking shambles. First of all, that mum and dad, Jerry and Kate, should have been jailed because they abandoned their kid. Especially on holiday. You're not going to abandon your kid on holiday. If anything, you're more protective. Second of all, the dog detected that the death happened in that apartment and she'd been moved from the apartment to the hire car and moved somewhere else. So they should have been jailed for that as well because it was proof that they messed about with her and killed her. And third of all, if somebody was going to steal a child, why not steal the other two childs that were sitting in the same apartment? It doesn't make sense. Because abduction, if you're going to abduct one, you'll abduct the other two and make it a happy day, a successful day, as they say. They'll get 3 kids. Why take one? They messed about with Madeline and it went wrong. That's what happened. Anyway, on that note, vaccines. Vaccines is going to come out. I mean, they're talking about taking one vaccine, but now they're talking about taking 2 or 3 because of the second wave. The second wave is going to be the bubonic plague. and they said it's going to come from insects. Well, the good thing about it is they can make something happen in, say, Africa, right? Now, listen to me on this. This is a long shot. They can infect animals, which they probably have been doing, because look at the animals now. The animals are getting the same symptoms as us, arthritis and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that shouldn't be happening. The reason being is because it's the food that they're eating, and it's the same as the food we're eating. It's the same as ADHD and autism. That doesn't come along for no reason. It seems to be prolific now because of the fact there's all these vaccines have came on board now. Because when I was younger, you didn't get ADHD, diabetes, autism. There was nothing. It was unheard of until the vaccines came along and the shit food that we're eating. So anyway, let me go to this wave two. I think they're going to infect the animals in Africa, and I think that the mosquitoes are going to bite into these animals, and they're going to carry the bubonic plague, and then they're going to bite the people, and the people are going to get the bubonic plague. That's my assumption of what's going to happen next. I don't need shit for this. I'm just giving an assumption. And I would like you to think you can maybe believe anything, because I would rather believe the ridiculous than believe the shite that's on that television. So that's my thought on that, because the flu vaccines, there's no research. The World Health Organization, it's not run by MDs or doctors. And when they say something, everybody goes, oh, we better get sorted with a vaccine, because the sheep will take it. Well, no, this fucking sheep. And see if you can assess what's happening. I mean, there's cryptocurrency and gold and silver flying. Now, the only reason gold and silver flew, or escalated in price, is when a war was happening, or an economy was failing. Do your maths, people. It's 101 basics. The economy's failing, and there could be a war against us and the fucking scummy elites that want to jag us with everything. So do your homework. If you've got questions to ask me the questions. But it's pretty simple how this is going to develop. And going back to school, I wouldn't have put my kids back to school anyway. History is bullshit. Science is bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Look at your royals. Your royals are not even real royals. Over now.